Hi, there's Life Prepper here. And sharing knowledge is power within itself. Now, I come across one of them. I'm updating my Twitter stuff, so you'll find me on Life Prepper One. So tweet me, follow me. Now, this one here is called Six Things to Consider When Bugging In with Pets. So, we talk about our animals, and I've seen prepper sites showing 8 dogs coming out or 500 critters. Problem is, in a situation, you cannot take all these animals with you if you was forced to bug out. What is the options you are going to have in it? So this is saying 6 things to consider when bugging in with pets. Now, it says, if you thought bugging in with children was more complicated than you expected, you may be surprised to find a whole new host of challenges presented by bugging in with pets. And that's true. While you don't necessarily have to worry about them trying to escape and going back to their old home, there are still many important things to consider. Though some of these problems can be managed with additional space or revising and training, others will more or less be a matter of chance. That being said, you can still do your best to keep pets safe during a bug-in scenario and ensure that they are able to stay with you as long as possible. Now, every one of my animals are adopted. I took them in. They was already grown. I've had Rufus. How long have I had Rufus? Where Rufus? Uh, I've had Rufus about 7 or 8 years now. And a gentleman was just going to get rid of him or take him to the pound, and he had papers and everything on him, but he's my baby. But look at how small he is. He's only 2 pounds. So surviving counts on me being able to take care of him and feed him in a situation like this. Isn't that right, Mr. Rufus? And he's thoroughly spoiled rotten. I guarantee you this. So this is something you have to think about. Now, it's talking about providing enough food. Now, I feed my animals table scraps some. Now, a lot of people say, oh, don't do them table scraps. That's the worst thing in the world. But my animals don't sit there and beg for food either. So they know the policy of them. But the thing is, a survival situation is you may have to do that. Now, he says, though, overall, individuals from small towns or rural areas are likely to find it easier to provide food for their pet, since many pet animals rely on small game for meat. It may be possible to feed them from the animals that you hunt. By the same token, may be able to consume grass and other plants that's not be really accessible in a city setting. Think about this. Try to make up this dish. It's real easy. I take rice and I take my mixed vegetables and stuff in there, and also a can of mackerel into it, and mix it up and cook it all together. And the animals just love it. And it's healthy for them. It's nutritional. So look at options of making the own food for them by making the rice dishes. When I make up a rice dish for myself with a tuna fish or chicken or whatever, I make enough so I can go ahead and give to the animals as well to feed them in that situation. Animals that's used to eating nothing but dog food or cat food, period, will not touch any other food if that's what they're used to. So that's going to be harder in a survival situation. Um, and he's talking about, most of them does rely on commercial foods because they believe their inexpensive products is often better nutritional. At the same time, if you ask these people what they think about ingredients, they readily admit that pet's food is more than likely made from ingredients unfit for human consumption. Uh, I tried the dog food, see how it tasted, and it was, but the meat that's in it is made from horse meat or parts of meat that will be considered thrown away. This includes ulcers and tumors cut from meat that is placed into the human food chains, as well as bone marrow, fat, internal organ, roadkill, shelter kills, and all kinds of plant waste. So this is what you're looking at. To add insult to injury, many of the food ingredients found in pet food may actually contain higher levels of uh, certain toxins, and that registers in human food. They put a lot of hormones and things in meat and stuff. We hear about it. A lot of our health issues is due to what we're eating because of all the preservatives and things they're putting into So think about it. All that leftover meat or whatever it is that they wouldn't sell to a human, they're putting it into the dog food is full of all this contaminants. So it can be regularly seen that perhaps you are best served by not stockpiling a large quantity of pet food for your animals. In a bug-in scenario, it's best to do some research on the actual nutrition needs for your pets and look for ways to wean them off commercial foods and onto those that will be used in a crisis situation. So that's what I was telling you. About once a week, fix up a rice dish, add some mackerel in it, because I'm going to tell you what, you're going fishing, you're bringing your fish back, you're cooking it up, and get them used to eating fish. And most of them won't even touch raw fish, but they'll eat it if it's cooked. So, you can think about that. Since animals will diarrhea when diets change, so it's best to introduce survival foods slowly at a time. You hear that? Slowly. So don't just over give it to them. Like I said, I give them bits and pieces of stuff of the when I make up the rice dish and everything for them. And then it's talking about managing waste. It's the current time you may honestly feel that you will never eat a cat, dog, pet, fish, or bird. On the other hand, when people, including yourself, are starving, just about anything will be considered fit free. And even if you will never eat your pet, anyone that comes across them may simply see a free meal. You hear that? Under these circumstances, once it crosses it, it will be extremely important to keep your pet indoors. If you have cats, dogs, or other large size animals, this means you are bound to have some problems managing waste. Uh, you're going to have the cat litter. The cat litter won't be. You can still change it out. You're going to have to think of the size of the dog. Now, Rufus ain't but 2 pounds, so when he has a boo boo, a little accident, it's not so bad for me to clean up. But I have a pug that I cannot bring into the house because his is huge. I mean, I adopted him. He started right in the house. I couldn't bring him in the house because of that. Animals are going to have to need a place. No matter how hard you try, these obstacles will always be a challenge to overcome. What I did with Rufus, and I haven't been able to do it since I moved up here, but I would lay a towel in the bathroom because he knew that's where we went to the bathroom at. So what I would do at night, when I went to work and stuff, I would place a towel around the edge of the toilet to protection wise, because he was not very well trained. People claimed he was, but he wasn't. But I would put a towel around the edge of the toilet, and then I would lay a towel on the floor there in the bathroom. So the next day, when I come in, I could just pick it up and wash it out and be done with it. So that way, you're not really having to use all the disposable things. So that's something to think on that. It says there is so much you can do to tidy up litter and use it for as long as possible. Dispose of litter outdoors will reveal to anyone passing by that some human being has living animals nearby, and there may be food and other items. Storing up large amount of litter will require a lot of space, and so also may add more weight than the building structure can handle. The older the pet thing can easily alert outsider to your presence. While managing pet waste can be complicated, there are a few things you can do to kind of mimic the situation. These suggestions are mainly intended for city areas where you may still have a larger population density to contend with. May also be used in rural areas where gangs and stuff are rolling. It's depending on the situation. You may be lucky enough to have a functional toilet and other plumbing. In these cases, you can simply dump animal waste down the toilet. Make sure you got plenty of water on hand if you've got to flush it down the toilet. Catching rainwater and things in that area is something to think about in that situation that you're able to flush it. Okay? Functioning toilet means you got running water. But if you have stored up you some water, you have set you up some rain catching water systems in your spouts and stuff, and that can be nothing more than a storage totes, whatever you can design for it. Having storage totes and using them to catch water with is something that will help in that situation. If you have to dispose of pet waste outside, make sure you do it so in a place where it's not likely to be traced back to you. When you leave home, make sure that no one is following you and that no one sees you. So that's a lot to think on right there. During the rain, I want to just tell you now, if it's raining outside, You can dispose of the waste. You can cat litter waste can be spread out in the yard, and the rain will wash all that odor away. Like I said, think about using a towel for them to pee on. You can wash the towels out, and so that way you are disposing of the waste. Another thing to think of that they're not even really talking about is taking. You could easily take a large tote with a with sawdust in it, or dirt, or even the cat litter in it, and you can uh, place the dog waste in there, pour some lime over it, and then sprinkle some dirt over top of it to help conceal this. Now, as once you get to that point, you can take a shovel of it from time to time, and you can take it outside. Again, if it's going to be raining, that is the best time to get rid of some of it because it will wash the smell away, and then it will also hide the trails of this here. So something to think about. While preparing litter to carry, you will need to be able to carry at least 10 pounds. There are no easy way to achieve this goal without coming uncomfortably close to the waste material or using some kind of troller or cart. You may use dirt for litter as long as it does not become obvious that you are routinely digging up the ground. You will most likely need a backpack or cart to carry new materials in. Like I said, just think about using that 5-gallon totes, and you could set it down in your basement or whatever you have, and then think about getting some lime for it. Like I say, put the poop in there, put some lime over, put some dirt over, and then as it builds up, then you just take a shovel, bucket of it, and then you just, when you know it's getting ready to rain or it is raining, just take it out during a rainstorm. Just toss it out in an area where it will wash it out and make sure it's not visible. That's one thing to do. Today, there are some fairly new products on the market that utilize enzymes and bacteria for breaking down solid waste. If you can find one that is safe to use in an indoor setting, it may reduce the number of trips, it says. That's something to check into. Uh, but, make sure your plumbing and toilet and all that's working, it says. Now, also, it's talking about chances that are the sounds of your birds chirping, meowing, or dog barking, and so on. So, on the other hand, if someone is trying to find a place to loot, these sounds can easily alert strangers to the presence. Even though there are open mouth muzzles that allow pets to drink water, it is not feasible, let alone advisable to keep animals muzzled. I wouldn't even do that anyway. To add insult to injury, your pet is likely to become emotionally disturbed when exposed to this kind of treatment. So I wouldn't do a muzzle to begin with. Individuals that live in small apartments should soundproof the room where they most suspect to be staying during a crisis. And of course, that way the animal won't be making so much noise. It says guard dogs require, years of careful training, of course. The thing is that some injuries and illnesses, as with humans, injuries and illnesses, you will find that your pet will often be inclined to suffer more medical related problems during a stressful situation. The thing is that there's a lot of long-term care considerations. There's a lot to think about this here. But if you are where you are able to take them outdoors on hikes and things, uh, think about making some homemade dog food and have recipes for it. Thinking on that area, thinking about alternatives on the cat litter, like say use dump it out during the rain, have you a special spot out there, get you a 5-gallon tote, keep you some dirt on hand or sand or whatever, then put some of it there, put your poop right there, put some lime over to break it down, put a little more dirt over it, and that will also help break it down. So it's a lot to think on it. Another thing is having too many animals. You hear people talk about, getting ready for this, but they got so many animals. What are they going to do with them? And that's something you need to think about also. So there's a lot to think on. Bug it in, the choices you got to make from caring for them, food supplies, how to dispose of the waste. Animals staying in the house with you that is used to going outside, and then all once they're inside all the time and not able to go outside, You got to also think about the health issues that's involved in that as well for you as a human being, because uh, that can make you sick just as easily. So, like I say, this in here was just 6 scenarios of animals bugging in. So, this is a lot of prepper. I want you to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.